Not to question your brilliance, but most of the city still thinks you're evil. Plus, I don't think you've quite gotten the hang of—
Hello, spirits. DreamWorks. Whenever a new film is being made full of passion, artistic styles blooming with characters you love to see, there must always be a crappy TV show producing a new season every couple months.
You're a black cat!
Ah! What? Whoa! Is that blackface, dude?
I already went through this hell twice, and I'm starting it back up with Megamind 2, except, well, I'll talk about it at the end. So without further ado, Megamind Rules Season 2. Well, that was boring. I want to bring up, there is a petition for people to get a Megamind Rules Season 2 when Season 1 came out. I cannot tell if this is satire or not. I mean, you guys watched the show, right? You watched the funny crowd say shoot them with a dehydration gun.
Hi, Dad.
There is 252 signatures, and I refuse to believe all of them and up are not kids. Like, what creativity? You mean how in 2 days they jumped ship from flip phones to old memes? Yeah, I wonder why they reference memes in 2024 of all times. Something I talked about last season was showing Keiko struggling to adjust to a new city, around with people that don't like her. Yeah, I wonder why. However, that part never became anything, because she's barely a character as it is. And here they showcase the key part of why Keiko is here. Her mother. Now with a setup that Keiko and her mother haven't talked about it and how stressful it can be to move, surely that means that now she's on screen, we will get to see the mother and daughter characters talk about them moving in a serious matter in hopes to distract her from Megamind from getting in trouble, while growing the characters to be stronger and giving them personality, which is the main motivation why Coco likes Megamind so much, and why she met him in the first place. What am I talking about? That would be a smart writing decision for the writers to include in what could have been a deep show with a similar message from the first film. Seriously, you guys just need to watch the first film. Oh, no, but Keiko's mum just has to go over some stories about
Acapella group,
political clowning class,
that ceramics thing in Utah,
college improv team,
and other garbage, like Keiko saying she has a crush, but the joke is she doesn't. Which is all played off as kids show trope jokes.
Mayday, mayday, the jig is up!
Why do these shows have the actual perfect setups for character growth, but it's all played off as jokes worse than Family Guy, who are so deprived of episode ideas they just have entire episodes around celebrities? Seriously, they introduce a character that's perfectly summed up as a self-insert. There is no other word for her, because even though she's the conflict starter who gave Machiavellian the binky, she barely looks guilty until those nerves actually become fucking important in terms of the episode's runtime.
Can we turn this song off now? My repeat limit taps out at 1,000!
Never! I couldn't possibly function without it.
Even though it's implied she's been dealing with that guilt for, oh, let's see, 8 episodes, okay. Literally the only times I remember seeing her being guilty is in episode 5 and episode 8, where I cannot tell if she already told him or not. This show has no memorable scenes or screen caps, unlike the other 2 shows I just watched. Hi, Future Spirit here. So as it turns out, she actually did confess during the last episode in the first season. This show is such a forgettable show when you forget these smaller details, so sorry. On that, it does give the message her mother tries to leave with her more heart looking back, and thankfully a bad joke isn't made in either of those moments, unlike episode 1 where they don't even try. Meaning I was wrong that Megamind wasn't the other one to receive some level of an arc. That doesn't mean I've remembered any other guilt scenes throughout those 2 episodes.
Official! Your #1 fan is back on Team Megamind!
God, why do none of the kids look good in this show? Also, Keiko spends 1 episode on her phone playing some farm game they reference. Take your pick, it's an unoriginal concept. But instead of, oh, I don't know, actually backing up some weight onto a random character who gives some sap motivation in one scene from the second film, a scene that's supposed to be serious, we get nothing. Nothing to give this character a reason to be on screen, to have any form of growth that isn't done by amending your actions by learning from it. That's not proper growth, because that can happen to any character in the show naturally with their actions. not explaining to the audience what you need to do. That's not an original character arc, contrasting it to the other arcs in the show. In the show Helluva Boss, multiple characters have shitty dads. This could be seen as the same growth, and overall wouldn't be an interesting concept to see happen 4 times, right? On the surface, yeah, but how each character handles it differently is what makes them different. Blitzo's dad, Cash, taught him his moral compass as a kid, but he also didn't love Blitzo, not as much as Fizz, with Cash being responsible for making sure they split off for good. Stolas' dad, Paimon, is assumed to have a lot of kin, so his attention to Stolas is spread out to the point Paimon can't even remember his name or attend the things he sets up. He also moulded Stolas into being a proper Goetia until Stolas broke away from that generational connection. And Stolas focusing on his divorce, and without his knowing, makes Via suffer through it without really knowing what she's going through.
Oh, your mother's being a real bitch.
And finally, Moxie eventually left his mob father who killed his mother, but even though they all have poor dads, they don't have the same arcs. Blitzo is finding those he hurt most while he hates himself and trying to amend what he's done. Stolas is trying to be a better partner, parent, all while mixed with these feelings about Blitz.
Was capable. I stopped him the first time, didn't I?
The first time?
Yeah, oh. Oops.
And later on, he will see Blitz's side of it. Vi is struggling to keep her trust for her father, who keeps empty promises while multiple conflicting storylines stray it further away. And finally Moxie, who found love that helped him become happier, while later episodes will most likely touch upon his marriage, his insecurities, etc. In other words, despite 4 characters having the exact same setup for an arc, they go in different directions. And that's not to mention the other arcs in terms of Millie, Luna, and the other characters who have changed from despising Blitz to becoming friends or beginning to heal from his actions. This show has an arc that can apply to any character in the show, but it also doesn't give it any unique story or think the character will grow from it. What's really funny about this scene is I've just noticed that during editing that Keiko forgot about the binky. And here's the funny part. Minion grabbed it from her, had it in his fist, and at no point did he visually drop it. There is not a single detail where he drops it. I had to check frame by frame. It is on the ground for no reason, and she forgets about it. What mistakes exactly was she learning from?
We all make mistakes. It's whether or not we choose to learn from them that's important.
Because that looks like another mistake after given a second chance with the binky. After the first time, she lost it to Makia villain. Keiko doesn't stand out because she has nothing going for her. Oh, she's the quirky fangirl. Shout out to Big Robo Lad for posting this clip of Neona. It reminded me, oh yeah, Neona is a fan character. Now, Neona is an original property, but it still has a fan looking up to the main character. What's ironic is that Ballister and Megamind in this show have basically the same sort of story, with the exception being that Ballister's actually enjoyable.
Guess we're just gonna have to do things the hard way.
Hard way? Hold on a second, wait, just wait.
Peekaboo.
Neona, since seeing the villain, Ballister, goes to him in order to be his sidekick, even if his intentions are to clear his name, while actively trying to push him towards evil, since that's how Neona presents themselves and how others see them. However, unlike Keiko, Neona is an interesting, fun, and quotable character.
Little girls. Okay, how old do you think I am?
I don't know, 10? Alright, help me out, more or less than 10.
Not a lot of kids in your life, huh?
You know what?
Because they're a big help to Ballister, who has no one. Neona and Ballister throughout the film, before falling out, because of what he learned concerning Neona, that they're presented as a monster. Even if deep down, Neona just wants to have chaotic fun. One of the better scenes representing their relationship and dynamic is in this scene I got the idea from. Ballister was asking small-minded questions while trying to get Neona to be normal, which is another subtle theme with the LGBTQ. But him asking questions like that, he did earlier, which is something Neona pointed out on.
With an uptight knight asking me small-minded questions.
You still have that pizza?
This isn't in the script, but I want it to be known that this is funnier than anything Megamind Rules has to offer. Seriously, the paused expressions is just another thing added to my humor. Like, come on. How can you not fucking laugh at that? Just Neona saying that and just staring at each other for what should be an uncomfortable amount of time. It's just so funny. But Neona answers this question because he pointed out what he had said was a small-minded question, all while helping Neona through pain they couldn't care less about. This scene means so much more than Megamind Rules ever did with Keiko, because Keiko never had anything interesting going for her. She's a self-insert to be the tech-savvy character in a time period where it's not possible. While Neona or Battlestar aren't constantly reminding each other that this is a techie kingdom because this is the norm for them. Technology in this kind of time is actually plausible because it's set up as a futuristic fantasy kingdom. Neona as a character is a fan that soon becomes a part of a family because the film's runtime lets us see that, lets us feel their bond. Keiko's relationship with Megamind feels like it was slap-banded on. He had everyone else with him and didn't exactly need a 12-year-old, non-powered kid to help out in non-tech related ways. This is a moral you'd see in a kid's show, coming from a film that had a very adult story of a character growing up evil. A compelling tale because we saw Megamind climb and fall during his journey. And that's the main reason he stuck with most people who watched the film as a kid. But no arc in the show can be compared to hers because there's barely any to begin with. The only one there actually is in the show is Megamind going from trying to get fans from the internet before actually doing good deeds and getting support from it. I'd go on, but that's the gist of it.
Chum, do you get the feeling we're being watched?
Why, yes, I do. In fact, I often like to imagine our lives are a television show on a popular streaming service, loved by all.
Was that meta or satire?
Whatever pisses you off more.
I cannot tell if the writers are blind to the hate or they actually expected people to like this show. Hey, remember when DreamWorks shot themselves in the foot with this single tweet? Oh, over 300,000 people, you got excited. This show was written months in advance, by the way, probably years. The story in the second show is at least better than the first. What do you want me to say? These shows suck. Like, fuck, why aren't I reviewing Helluva Boss? I actually love that show. This show focuses on Megamind trying to gain back his followers, and it's okay for what it is. It's definitely an improvement over the random adventures that are thinly connected, but in this case they're trying to find Metroman, who, can you believe, is one of the most useless characters in the show. It's unfathomable. So as it turns out, Metroman, or later known as Music Man in the first film, is the one who made the llama song. You know, that one pop song that only Minion likes and makes me want to hope copper is Metroman's weakness.
Keiko? Oh,
Because Metroman isn't in his home, isn't off trying to write songs, performing in front of people, he's in prison. Self-appointed. Because Machiavellian convinced him, somehow. I get he can go out of... Oh, he was wearing his fuck-ass outfit, wasn't he?
Hey, love the new threads.
Right? I ran into this glam rock dude and he hooked me up.
So how did he know you were Metroman? And speaking of his level of intelligence, as it turns out, Metroman has the IQ of a very, very, very dumb man. Because that's what he's presented as, not smart. Now they appoint the knowledge that he's selfish for leaving his duties, and yes, no one's doubting that, writers. But the sentiment of Metroman is he was stuck as a hero. He had no passions, no career or calling. He was a hero in an endless cycle of battles.
You know, little buddy, there's a yin for every yang. If there's bad, good will rise up against it.
I don't think those words are from a dumb guy. Metroman is arrogant, egotistical, but he's not played out dumb in the film because I'm pretty sure faking your death would be pretty challenging alone. Metroman isn't as smart, but that doesn't mean he isn't bright. They had an episode where they switch powers and Megamind just becomes egotistical, meaning his IQ just dumbs down a lot.
You question Sir's abilities. He might not be able to count to 5 right now, but...
Deal?
It's a deer! Oh, fine, but we're running out of... that thing with the minutes and the seconds.
That's time.
Change their formation so that when they do inevitably go off, they cause a safe demolition.
Kazawa?
Just fly me over there.
Traditions and superior cuisine anytime.
And a happy new year to you.
While Metroman uses his intelligence for songs. Can you see what show I'm working with right now? Oh, and guess what? Do you know how crucial his character is to the show? I cannot keep doing this. He does nothing. We need Metroman. No, you don't. You never did. He's in 2 episodes and becomes pointless. There was no point in setting him up half the season subtly looking for Metroman, only for Megamind to help him overcome stage fright. For the two to switch powers so he can write songs. A dog song, and that's it.
Am I getting old, or is that just silence?
Wait for it.
Guys, we're running out of time.
Wait for it.
I don't want Metroman to help Megamind, but surely he could have been added for any other reason, just, hey look, it's Music Man. Because I swear, if anyone defends him being in the show for the reason that Megamind should just use his own powers, yeah, I watched the first film as well. He's already done that. I don't need to rewatch what Megamind already learnt, but in worse quality, and with a villain that doesn't match up to... Oh yeah, the villain! Villain is very confusing because he's written to be ahead, but at the same time, the way he dies is so underwhelming. For starters, Villain has one of the most uninteresting fights because, get this, instead of Megamind fighting Villain, you know, the student and mentor, he doesn't. So let me get this straight, Megamind Rules writers. Turns out he dies in episode 7, leaves an evil, superpowered Roxanne in his place, and then when he gets revived again, it's... let me just check my clock here. 19 minutes and 30 seconds into the episode. The last episode. He doesn't even last the 20-minute mark when he dies.
Lives to fight another day, and I promise you, when next we meet, I will...
What the hell was that?
Just to be brought back as Megamind's Suri. As a villain, down to his core, has nothing unique to his name, his design is uninteresting. The only time he switches outfits is just a fucking Overwatch recolor. At least the song he sung was okay.
You can join a group, but you'll always be alone.
Seriously, why couldn't we have just had villain songs in this show? You had a musical villain who was a glam rock star of some kind, who also had the fucking pipes for songs for high notes. As it turns out, Adam Lambert is the voice actor behind Villain. He sings the opening intro as well, which is the only thing people really praise about this show. Literally, you're the saving grace, Adam. This seriously is just such fucking wasted potential for him to just have 2 songs and they call it quits. Would you guys like me to keep talking about this guy? Too bad! Because everything I said sums up his character. He's smart and calculated, doesn't care about civilians, he sings, he does in a boring way, and that's it. What else? Oh yeah, how about the one-off characters they introduced for literally no reason, who offer no purpose for anything?
Maybe this whole thing can be overcome through the deep bond of friendship.
Seriously, none of these guys offer anything in the finale because they all are just rock zombies by the end of episode 6. And you're left with Megamind and Keiko. I wish I was kidding.
I would say check the expiration date on your vitamins, but honestly, I don't hate the new you.
Let's see, we have Splinter from the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles who scares people away from the store. Cool. Megamind tries to make him more likable, in which he does, only to find out he's in jail for being framed. Also, I take it back about the Death Grippers adding a horror element into the episode. Since seeing episode 2, this is just... fucking boring. And apparently the writers don't remember that Dude Monkey was a fraud. And I don't know why Machiavelli considers this superhero to be competent when he can't even fight one of the 5 members on his own team. There was that one construction lady as a villain for one episode who wants to blow up a building to get revenge on Delaware? Isn't this Metro... I'm not bothered to watch back and find out why. Alright, let's see. A little Terry, some little Timmy thing called Power Kid, bigger head than the adults, and old man who's just crazy. Rapunzel did it better. Oh yeah, what about the overall story? Megamind tries to get people back on his side while trying to find Metroman. Machiavellian tries to turn him evil. Oh yeah, let's talk about that. Megamind Episode 3 is definitely a unique concept of betraying mind control. I'm actually surprised the writers were competent coming up with a great idea for this show. I'm glad they didn't just slap a device on his head when he wakes up that he's a villain. They actually did an episode where instead of just doing nothing with the concept of mind control, they actually do something. Basically, Megamind constantly has to repeat doing villainous acts until he doesn't realize he's doing it in real life.
Hello, old friend.
Are you kidding me?
It's good they established that Megamind isn't doing this at save points either. He's actually having to relive every time he does something good, which drains his mind even further. This episode wasn't anything special. I mean, it was kind of special for the show, and it did lead to the funniest scene in the show.
Billion points, here I come!
Sir, no, do this!
Never mind, I also like this voice delivery.
Roxanne?
What?
Well, I have a boys list too.
What?
Even still, a good concept in an episode still makes it unfunny, poorly animated, and unfortunately, annoying to watch. Let's see. Try to be good, Metroman, Megamind Evil, Rock Zombies, fight against Roxanne. Yep, nothing that's important. Oh yeah, I forgot Minion was a character in the show. I hate that they try to make Keiko a character in the show. And then at the end, Keiko goes on some corny speech that's made worse with the animation. That's literally everything I can remember. The animation is garbage. And how they designed all the characters, all the new ones in this show, is somehow lower than low. White Megamind can't hurt you, White Megamind can't hurt you, White Megamind can't hurt you. You'd think they'd use Bernard, right? You know, what's basically Megamind human disguise? Oh, right. Silly me. Megamind's technology is ripped away from him, which is just an excuse so they don't have to animate any of his technology. That was his main gimmick. Oh, and don't worry, if you were wondering, yes, they pull out the usual stops when it comes to an existing character looking different. The character gets nervous and tries to say he isn't who they're thinking he is. People think he looks familiar to who he is. A character that hates him thinks he's really hot like this. In this case, Gale? I don't know, she's barely a character. Seriously, what was the thought process behind making this design this shit looking?
I'm just here to retrieve my child servant. Wait, that sounded terrible.
I don't get how anyone could see that and think it's not some sort of like superpowered guy. She legit looks like she's been akumatized. Well, she has powers, she's evil and mind controlled. Yeah, akumatized. Don't forget French.
This is what you are going to tell moi, mon ami. Where is Monsieur Megamind and what is he planning to do?
In addition, she's absolutely animated horribly when she's not vertical, while having the missed opportunity to have 4 powers making someone look cool for once. Scratch that 5, I forgot, you know. Pied Piper, Weather Girl, Rock Monster, what was the other ones? Shadow Guy. Oh, it's only 4. Right, I forgot, yeah. None of these characters have purple in their design. Fun fact, this is coming from the guy who loves purple in character designs and is my favourite colour. I like the colour scheme, but it doesn't actually make sense for her. Right, well, what else have they done poorly? Oh yeah, they also switched a lot of the costumes, like, Keiko, Machiavellian. And you'd think that they'd give him some super cool outfits, but no, they just switch one colour on them. And for Keiko, it's worse because apparently Megamind just has this kid outfit of her exact same shirt in a different colour. Yeah, that's totally logical. You mean the guy who didn't want her as a sidekick for an entire season and then was locked out of his base for another season? That makes total sense. At least for Machiavellian it makes sense because he designed his own outfit. It doesn't mean it's any good. What else? Oh yeah, the rat guy is so badly designed. Seriously, how do you make a mutant human rat look this shit? Not to mention again, Big Head Terry, Music Man's fuck-ass outfit. That one construction lady who had radioactive waste dumped onto her? Wait, that just merged onto her head. You're kidding. No, I'm done. Let's just... In terms of Megamind Rules Season 2, it seems to have a lot more of a coherent story, but at the same time, I swear the writers were giving peanuts for compensation for their work. I don't think this show will get a Season 3. At the very least, it seems wrapped up. No villain setups, a few lines of dialogue and that's it. Mark your villain at some point in episode 8 says he knows a lot about Megamind, so that might become important. Watch it become some massive coincidence. Roxanne still has her powers, the Syndicate don't. Oh, and those cockroaches from last season. This is going to be space related, isn't it?
I want to make it known that again, I had total faith in the Megamind sequel, that somehow DreamWorks would divert from their usual way of developing these shows. Unlike the modern editions like Dragon Knight or the Nine Realms, it's been at least a few years of final conclusions to said movies, so inevitably the fan bases were slowly disappearing, but they never faded away because they were icons in animation history. Videos are still being made about the animation, the villains, but Megamind has always been one of the most requested sequels in DreamWorks history because it purely does a lot of good. It's a film that's always been in the mainstream media because of its characters, its tone, and the memes that sprung up out of nowhere. The film has always been a topic of discussion because it has so many fun characters and a fun world we would have loved to see more of. But this show takes it too far in the wrong direction. Megamind as a sequel had a lot of potential, if it wasn't meddled by the writers or DreamWorks. The first 8 episodes were the final nail in the coffin before the show actually began to feel suited to Megamind in the final 8 episodes. Because by the time Season 2 rolls in, they remove the internet stuff, they focus the story more on Megamind trying to save the day, but it's always packaged in a show that's badly animated, poorly written, and seeing characters we hate getting more screen time than the characters we actually like more. This show had a lot of potential and it was just wasted to be a cash grab, while if they'd worked on it being a legitimate sequel film, it would have made a boatload. I mean, look at Kung Fu Panda 4, it was met with questionable reviews and it ultimately isn't favoured by fans. But it still made more than 5 times its budget, with a character and whose actor everybody wanted to hear on the big screen again, and was marketed really well. And Megamind Rules was marketed, it just wasn't what the fans wanted. They never wanted this IP to be treated like shit, they wanted a continuation of the story with the characters they left behind 14 years ago, me included. It comes from a place of disbelief that DreamWorks makes these shows for no reason other than to make shit toys. Anyways, if I could recommend anything to watch, I recommend Megamind 1, The Button of Doom, and Neona. These are all amazingly animated, greatly crafted, and The Button of Doom does something better than Megamind 2 failed at doing. Anyways, Spirit out.